Coming to you with one of my after work videos. I love talking out here in the parking lot. The daylight's perfect. I don't have to worry about having improper lighting, things of this nature. And at the same time, I'm around stuff that I love. I was talking to RC last night. She's one of our subscribers that talk here for a while. She's been very supportive of me. She's been a really good friend. She's always commenting on my stuff. And, I was talking to her because she's a professional in the medical field and she knows a lot of stuff about this. But I was just throwing some things out there that I've kind of noticed over the years that if I'm keto and I'm really clean and I'm really strict, I can't cheat. I can't eat things that have extra sugars or extra carbs in it because I feel like my body just completely destroys itself trying to fight to get back where it is. But if I'm carnivore and my ketones are a little bit lower, my blood sugar stays about the same as it was on keto, if not even better, and my sleep and stuff is better, I'm finding that if I do decide to eat something, it doesn't affect me. I can recover almost immediately. If I do get some kind of headache because I went too far on a holiday or a family event or something like that, my body responds in a recovery mode, a rebound mode very well. But if I'm doing keto, I cannot do that. I can't respond the same way. I don't know what it is about it. I'm finding the more people in my keto carnivore groups that I run, they can make choices that aren't necessarily the cleanest on carnivore, and they respond very well. They move back into a mode where their body actually rebounds, and they're back to the same way. And I ask people often, all the time, through my experience doing this, what do you experience when you have that cheat day, or you have the pizza that you shouldn't have had, or you have that meal with your family that's that meal that you have because this is the family gathering every year, and you have decided that I'm not going to be dogmatic in my ways. I'm not going to be a Nazi when it comes to controlling myself, and I have to have perfect food every single time, that I can make an exception for something. How do you feel when that time comes? And people often say, on carnivore, I feel amazing. It's not that hard to recover from it. But whenever I'm keto, I have a more difficult time rebounding from that. My body goes into these withdrawal modes. It's a roller coaster effect of trying to fight back and get back onto the keto train, as they call it, and it's harder for me to get there. There's something to that. Why is it? I can't exactly explain it, but what I can tell you right now is, why would somebody want to be that miserable person during a holiday that is sitting over there in the corner, or sitting in another room with their hand on their head, and they're sick and they feel lethargic or whatever, because they made a few bad choices when it came to eating carbs during the holidays, because they made a few bad choices. You know what? One of the things that me and RC talked about last night is that exactly this. If you cannot prepare yourself for the success during the holidays, how are you going to get anywhere? There are ways to do this. I'm not condoning people do this, and you guys probably remember a brief story before where I was running a keto carnivore group that I built for somebody else. Basically, it was basically based on my knowledge, my rules, my strictness. It came from my standpoint, and it was a very successful group. And then when Joe Rogan did his podcast with Jordan Peterson, it took off. I mean, we were gaining 300, 400, 500 people a day. It was getting nuts. It was really hard to manage it, but that's beside the point. I got to a point where I actually put out a video talking about this very topic, and people were like, "Oh my God, you can't tell people about carbs. You can't tell people all this stuff because they're going to take advantage of it, and you're almost giving them a free pass to go ahead and make all these bad choices." No, I'm not. I'm educating them. I'm talking about real life experiences, people that have lives that can't be dogmatic like you do every time you turn around. I'm talking about real life. People are going to make those choices. If you've got a holiday event coming up, if you've got a birthday coming up, if you've got a New Year's coming up, if you've got some kind of family gathering coming up, you have to prepare yourself for what you're about to do, right? One of the things we talked about is stepping yourself into that mode. I noticed that if I have Thanksgiving coming up or Christmas coming up, and I start 5 to 7 days out increasing my carbs little by little by little, my body responds to it very well. I control the amount of carbs and sugars that are going to my body for a period of time before going into the holiday. I don't gain weight. I've learned at this point to control that, and I don't gain the weight that people talk about. Oh my God, you're going to gain 10, 15 pounds. I might gain a pound or two or something like that, but I make sure during that time I'm active. I'm doing more things than what I normally would do, so I can prepare for that kind of stuff. And with that being said, what I've chose to do is I've created a program. It's a 7-day program where people start at 50 grams of carbohydrates. The next day they're at 75. The next day they're at 100. The next day they're at 125. The next day they're at 150. And I talked to people about this, and I said, I guarantee going into the holiday, if you prepare exactly like I'm telling you to now, this is not a gimmick. I don't want you to subscribe to my program. I don't want you on my list of emailing because I'm your keto coach. I don't want none of that stuff. I'm just telling you straight as a human being that's been doing this for a long freaking time. Longer than these doctors that get in front of these computers and cameras and everything else and act like they've got it all figured out. If you prepare yourself for what you're about to do, you can be very successful in getting there. I increase my carbohydrates before a holiday. If I'm going to partake in Thanksgiving, I go 50, 75, 100, 125 up until that holiday. And then when that holiday comes around, I can actually enjoy the holiday. I'm not sitting there miserable like I've just killed myself. I'm not sitting there miserable like I can't partake in the festivities and the events and talk to my family and enjoy myself because I'm sitting in the next room like I've got a hangover because of the carb crash or the sugar crash. I'm actually successful in finishing out my holiday and being an eventful person and partaking with everybody else because I've prepared myself for it. On Carnivore, I find I don't even have that problem. I could go from being carnivore today to eating a 300 carb day tomorrow and come out of it completely fine with almost minimal effect. But if I eat clean keto, I'm talking about clean carnivore. I'm talking about good organs, good meats and stuff like that, not adding any kind of junk or anything in, just carnivore, water, salt. Doing that every single day, I can go to the next day and I can have 300 grams of carbohydrates and come right back out of it and go be completely fine. But if I do a week, 2, 3 weeks, a month of clean keto, and then all of a sudden I just have 100 grams of carbs the next day, I'm like, oh crap, man, it feels like something hit me like a truck. For days, 3, 4, 5 days, I'm trying to recover from this before I get back to normal again, before I'm back into ketosis. But on Carnivore, it doesn't happen. I don't seem to simply have that problem. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about. I'm finding more and more that I do this, that when I'm coaching people for free, I don't charge people to coach. I do have a Patreon where I actually give people more effort, more of my time. I message them multiple times throughout the day, and I'm constantly checking on them like I'm their buddy. They're not just a coach. Like, I'm checking on them. Hey, you all right? How's the electrolytes coming? What's going on? I do that stuff, but I don't do it to the extent everybody else does where I forget about them. I actually check on them multiple times throughout the day to see if they need help with something. I'm not like this. I'll send you a message once a week and then leave you alone and forget about you. Like today, a lady asked me this morning about electrolytes. I messaged her about 6, 7 times today just to check in with her throughout the day, that I wanted to make sure she was okay. I wanted to make sure she was successful in what she was trying to achieve today. So what I want to talk to you guys about is when you go keto and then you stop and then you come back to keto again. In the last 3 or 4 months, I've had some of the ladies in my group, especially ladies, and this is the biggest problem. I want the ladies to really, really pay attention to this. Pay attention to what I'm about to say. I have people, especially pregnant women or whatever, they're fine on keto, they lose a ton of weight, they get pregnant, they come off of it, and they go back to keto again because they took a break, whatever. They listened to somebody that said keto wasn't safe for the baby, which is not true. The second trimester, there's plenty of ketones available for the child to use as fuel. And third trimester, the majority of it is ketones. I watched a video where they took a centrifuge and they spun the mother's milk and they actually wanted to separate it and see what was there. And there was a huge majority of it that was fat. There was a huge majority of it that was protein. And it was like only 11% that was actually glucose. So a child can be on a ketogenic diet in the mother's womb, the mother eating keto very successfully without a problem at all. The problem that I have is when women go from, especially women, because our hormones are different. It's happened for men as well. I know several guys in my group that have experienced this, but they go keto, they stop doing keto, or they get pregnant and they stop doing keto, and then they come back to keto again and they're like, dude, what the heck is going on? I've been doing this for 6 months and I cannot get anywhere. I'm not progressing. I'm not losing weight. I can't figure out what's going on. My body's not liking this so much. The food's good, but I'm not that successful when I've come back to it. What is going on with me? It's hard. It's very difficult, and I don't even have all the answers for it yet. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll start recommending, let's go ahead and start switching into a more carnivorous or a higher protein keto. Let's pull some of those carbs way, way, way down, like 10 or less total. And what ends up happening is they start losing again. But then they also start seeing that this carnivore thing, this higher protein, higher fat thing is really working for me. When I add the vegetables and stuff back in, it's not as easy. maybe if I cut it out completely and I just eat exclusively meat and I try the carnivore deal, I can still be in some level of ketosis, but really not have to think about it. It's so super simple. I don't have to worry about what I'm eating. I just eat, and it de-stresses me. It makes me feel good about what I'm doing. I'm having like zero carbs, and I just find that I'm responding to this diet way better. It reduces my stress levels. It lets me more free throughout the day. I know that if I just take a steak to work or whatever, I pop it in the microwave, I cook it at home if I'm close to work, whatever it is, and I'm done. I just eat my meal, I go on about my day, right? Well, it's not happening that way with a lot of people. They go keto and then turn around and come back, or they stop doing keto and then they come back. It's super difficult for them, and they're having tons of problems actually losing weight when they come back. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't have all the answers for that, but what I do know is by having them when they come back start increasing more protein and more fat and reducing the amount of carbs, they're finding that they're more successful. But when they start coming back and they try to cram themselves full of, broccoli and kale and leafy greens and stuff like that, they have a very difficult time succeeding, and it takes a long time for them to do it. Yes, just like Kim said, she said, I find with the variety in keto, I always overeat. I found that all the time. There was so much variety, and that's the thing is the vegans say, oh, look at this restrictive diet and stuff that they eat. It's no more limited or restrictive of what you do. If anything, I can have more than you because I have different types of meats, different types of organs, different types of dairy, just different types of cheese, all these green, low glycemic vegetables, berries. I can actually eat more than you and more variety. And because I have more variety, chances are I'm going to overeat. Chances are I'm going to make extravagant meals that are fun and stuff like that because I'm tired of having the same thing over and over again. And it plays on your mind. You start looking at it, you're trying to make things better and better and better and better and more fun and stuff like that. But on carnivore, it's so simple. You just do it. You don't care about what it is. I made something one time that people started going crazy over, and they were like, oh my God, that's so simple, it's so easy, and I can't believe you just created that. I call it the beef bagel. I took a half a pound of beef, I smashed it on a cutting board, I cut the center out of it, I took it with a spatula real carefully over to the skillet, I dropped it in the skillet, I seared it on all sides, or on the bottom, then I cracked a large egg down in the center of it, and I let it cook together. And I flipped it over and I cracked it, or I left the egg in there, I flipped it over and I cooked it on the other side. And then when I cut into that beef bagel, the yolk kind of busted out and went all over the sides of it. I didn't need a marinade. I didn't need Hellmann's mayonnaise. I didn't need sugar-free ketchup. I didn't need to make excuses why I need to have dirty keto options to enjoy my meal. The egg, the awesome delicacy of having that egg yolk just run all over that beef when I cut into it. So simple, it was so amazing, and it was so awesome. I didn't need anything more than that. But on keto, I'm always trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to season this? Am I going to try to whip up some of my barbecue sauce real quick? Then I got to add some Brussels sprouts and some onions and some asparagus. I'm tossing all this stuff in there, and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm overeating. I'm doing the same thing that I shouldn't be doing. There's something to it, Keto is a healing, very, very healing diet. Don't get me wrong. It's just what saved my life. But I can honestly tell you right now that when I went carnivore, that was the way for me to go. It simplified my life. It took the stress off of everything. I don't have to worry about counting what I eat. Even if I don't lose any more weight, even if I stay the big bodybuilder, or not bodybuilder, powerlifter guy that I am right now, and I just stay this, I move around great. I'm in the gym every day. I'm running, I'm jogging, I'm doing all kinds of stuff now. I'm still overweight. But just the fact that my mind is okay, just the fact that my legs are okay, just the fact that I can actually move, I'm off all medication and stuff now, is okay with me. But once I go back keto, I'm like, you know what? This kind of sucks because now I'm having to pay attention to everything I'm eating. I don't want to overeat. I'm doing all kinds of stuff wrong because now I'm wanting to add other things in. I'm wanting to make more sauces and stuff. It gets a little annoying because then I find myself falling into the same path and pattern that other people that are wanting to do dirty keto and all this other stuff in it. It's not me. I just really think the benefit of carnivore is amazing. And if more people would look into if more people would understand, the more often you do these different diets, the more often you switch your gut biome, the more often that you're switching how your gut matter and stuff is adjusted to the type of diet, and the more often you bounce back and forth, okay, I'm not keto this week, okay, I'm going back to keto next week, all right, I've done keto for 6 weeks, now I'm going to go carnivore for 2 weeks. What do we talk about whenever we first start this diet? The more times you switch, the more diets that you get on, the more your body starts to reject what you're doing. So find out what works for you and stick with it. If you find that there's a reason why you need to come off keto, really evaluate whether that reason is a good reason. Pregnancy is not a reason to come off keto. I don't care what your doctor says. I don't care what you believe or whatever like that. Pregnancy is not a reason to come off keto. You're still eating whole, quality, good food. There's nothing that's going to damage that baby. It's very natural. My issue is people that make excuses for it. Realize that when you stop and you go back, it's not going to be as easy. Realize that even with carnivore, you stop and you go back, it's not going to be as easy. Find something that works for you and just stick with it. Enjoy your life. Find your value. Don't let excuses and reasons be the reason why you're the person that comes back 6 months later and says, okay, I want to do it again, and it doesn't work for you the same way. I have people that come back after doing it for years and they quit and they come back and then they're like, it just doesn't work anymore. The more you switch, the more you bounce around, the more it's going to be harder for your body to actually adjust to what you're doing. We're not machines to the point where we're super adaptable to that all the time. Your body finds a way to fight you when you start doing stuff that it's not used to. So, do I think carnivore is better than keto? Yes. Do I think that I would go around, or am I going to go around telling everybody that? No. I wouldn't go tell somebody, go eat carnivore right now. If somebody asked me what diet should I be on, or what type of lifestyle should I live, I would say go follow a ketogenic diet. That's the words that would come out of my mouth, because I want them to have all the healthy things. I want them to have the things that make them happy. I want them to have... Why is my phone all of a sudden acting weird? Anyway, I want them to have a variety of things as well. I want them to have the things that I couldn't have, and if it works for them, great. But if it starts to stall them out and they're just not getting the progress that they want, then I would simply say try carnivore, because you might stick with that and you might like that for a long time. I love it. I absolutely love it. One of the things that I'm learning right now in my master gardening classes is we're talking about soil types. We're talking about autoimmune conditions being healed by carnivore is amazing. It's the best thing that I can possibly have somebody do, is start a carnivorous diet to heal autoimmune conditions. The other day I was having a conversation with a nephrologist, the same thing as Dr. Jason Fung, and he came in. My father was sitting there with his foot all bandaged up, where they removed the bottom of his foot, and they removed the top of his foot. They put him in all these casts and stuff like that, and he looked sorry. He looked like he was literally dying. Both his legs were black from the knee down, and I'm standing there looking at this doctor, and she's talking about some kind of kidney problem he has as well. And I said, well, I saw him eating almonds and stuff earlier. Why is he eating almonds? And the doctor said, well, what are you talking about? And I said, well, that's high oxalate foods. If he's having kidney problems, then cut them out of his diet. Don't feed him almonds. Don't let him have leafy greens. Don't let him have a bunch of spinach and stuff. That's some of the things with the highest oxalates in it. You're talking about fighting a kidney infection or some kind of kidney condition, especially with him being diabetic. Why are you letting him have those foods? Cut them out of his diet. Well, the patient asked for this and that. No, the patient asked for nothing. That's not an option. You're trying to heal his kidney. You're not trying to make it worse. And I said, Dad, come on. You're making poor choices right now. These are foods that make the conditions worse. They don't make them better. I know they're healthy foods to some people, but in certain circumstances, you got to remove them. I said, Dad, do you know how being on a carnivorous diet would help you right now, or just cutting back on some of the salads you want all the time with all the starchy carbs and stuff you eat? It's not benefiting you. And he said, well, this is kind of what I like to eat, so I'm going to eat it. And I was like, I'm going to come back home. I'm going to move back home. I'm going to show you how to eat. I'm going to show you what I do and stuff, and I'm going to make it a very nice ketogenic lifestyle for you, but we're going to have some carnivorous eating in there, and there's going to be more and more of it. So I'm going to go back home, and I'm just going to be in their lives every single day if I can. I'm going to be in their lives trying to help them prepare food and make better choices and stuff every single day if I can, and just be there for them. But, it just seems like the very doctors that we follow, the very doctors that we're getting our information and stuff from, they don't do their research. They're really following a lot of old data. The people that are taking care of our loved ones and stuff in the hospitals and stuff, they're not very smart in a lot of cases. And it's very concerning to me that we trust our loved ones with these people, and we can't do anything about it to stop them from going. So I kind of made the nephrologist that was sitting there, or talking to my father, feel pretty small. You're doing the exact opposite of what you should be doing to heal him. High oxalate foods are not an option if you have kidney conditions. Cut them out of your diet completely. Spinach and almonds are some of the top things that cause these conditions and make them worse. I'm in a master gardening class right now where I'm studying plant pathology, micro microbial infections spreading and stuff of certain conditions, disease spreading, pathogen spreading. Um, I'm studying how many more conditions right now actually are created with plants that animals are not susceptible to. Plants can get so many more hundreds and hundreds of conditions when it comes to different types of bacteria, different type of infections that can spread through whole entire crops. And a lot of times if you don't catch it fast enough, you can't remove that plant and get it. So like, you know, with these E. coli outbreaks and stuff like that, the romaine lettuce and stuff outbreaks, a lot of times once one plant gets it, the whole entire crop's done. You can't save it. And a lot of people don't realize when it's like cattle or something like that, you can isolate it a little bit more. You can take the animals that you can blood test, and you can test them quick. You can get them out of the way. You can isolate them so the animals that are sick can be put down or dealt with however they have to be dealt with. You know, there's a reason why antibiotics are given to animals. A lot of people are dogmatic and say, well, we're giving antibiotics to animals, and that's the things that's making us sick. That's not the things that are making us sick. Sometimes they have to have antibiotics. When they live in close quarters or even in big open fields and stuff like that, they have to have antibiotics in some situations. If it's a high volume farmer that's moving those animals, even though they could be in the perfect situation where they're grass-fed, grass-finished, sometimes they have to give them antibiotics based on the conditions they're living in. A lot of this stuff is exactly what I'm learning right now in these classes. It's not just all about plants. I'm going for my master gardening certification so I can go talk about this stuff in public. So I can go tell people the different types of landscapes that are best around their home, how to design their landscaping around their home, how the different types of soil is affecting the growth of their vegetables and their grass, and how different types of diseases can spread from one plant to another, and how you take and you remove these disease-ridden plants and stuff, and you have to get rid of them all. You have to destroy the whole crop. I'm learning about all this stuff, and it's aiding in what I do with keto and carnivore so much to the point now where I'm starting to understand things that I never would have understood before. It's all starting to click. The hamster's really starting to roll now. And now a lot of the doctors and stuff that I follow that don't know about the pathology of plants, that don't know about microorganisms, different types of infections, disease spreading and stuff like that, they know about medical stuff. Well, I'm interested in medical, and I'm interested in plant biology, pathology, and I'm interested in the animal stuff. So now I'm starting to tie all that into my education so I can help people, and it's benefiting me to a completely different degree. That's why when I'm listening to Dr. Berg and other people talk, sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, there's so much more to it than what you're talking about. There's so much more than what you're saying right now. You're not even completely understanding the pathogen, the mechanism that's affecting things a certain way because you're a doctor. You don't know about plants. You don't know about how they're grown. You don't know about what the soil needs and stuff for that to actually be a beneficial plant for that person that's probably deficient in selenium and pH. The pH is off. And if the pH is off in a plant, you can kiss that plant goodbye. Even if that plant grows up and it's real green and it looks healthy and stuff, if you test that soil and pH is off, that plant did not uptake all its nutrients and stuff. It needs micronutrients just like everybody else does. There's a lot of things that people don't understand that goes into farming and the plant health itself. It's completely different than how easy it is to make an animal healthy. Plants are so much harder to keep healthy with the way they're grown and the treatment of soil and how that crop has to be rotated, and if different diseases and stuff affect it. That's why I think a keto diet is so much different than a carnivorous diet. I mean, obviously you got all carnivores, all meat. Keto is, an abundance of vegetables and stuff like that as well as meat. I'm just like, I'm seeing so much more point me in the direction of carnivorous eating rather than ketogenic eating, that I'm starting to really stay away from plants. Like, I don't even eat any kind of plants at all right now. It's just all carnivore stuff. For the last 3 days, I've been eating just organ meats, like an organ medley, and it's been working for me. But the issue that I have is the more I'm learning about plants, the more I really just don't want to eat them. The more I'm realizing that my body type or what I like in my life does not fit them in my life. It doesn't benefit me. So anyway, I just push you guys, really try to get as much education as you possibly can. Try. That's what I do, Kim. Good, Melissa. That's what we need to do. Coconut oil, butter, good quality salt. Redmond's real salt is what I really like. I want to get some of that. But I found a mesquite. It's a mesquite flavored, good quality sea salt. plant gardening can be very beneficial, but when you plant garden, get it out of the ground. Do a raised bed, 4 foot across, 10, 12 feet long, 10 to 12 inches deep. Make sure you got good drainage and stuff going on. Make sure you learn what plants go with each other. Learn your climate type and stuff like that. Like down here, we've got a lot of pine. Pine can make the soil very acidic because of how it breaks down, and it takes a long time to break down, but it can also be a big benefit to mulching and keeping things. I do use some spices sometimes. I do like herbs. I do like some Slap Your Mama seasoning or something like that from time to time, but not a lot. The more and more I'm using just a garlic salt. It's a grinder garlic salt. It's got garlic like granules and salt together, and I grind it, and I love it. I make exceptions for some things sometimes, but I also pay attention to how I feel while I'm doing it. So it's very important to do that as well. There's a lot of people that are carnivores that use some type of seasoning or something to that extent, but it's not necessarily kosher to, the Nazis of carnivore or whatever, the people that try to control everything that you do. Today I was teaching people about, I'm seeing all these people talk about Bang energy drinks. Oh, it's keto friendly, it's all this other stuff. Do you know what's in Bang energy drinks? Do you know that sodium benzoate causes ADHD, hyperactivity and stuff like that to be worsened or heightened in adults and children? Do you know that a lot of times when sucralose is put on a package, it's not really sucralose? 99% of the time, it's some kind of Splenda blend which has maltodextrin and dextrose. I tried to get a hold of VPX company today so I can actually check on what kind of sucraline blend is in this stuff to actually ask them. Like I called Tarani up, and Tarani's stuff says Splenda, or no, it's Tarani's stuff used to say, but they removed it and it said sucralose. And I said, no. Quit BSing me. I want you to give it to me straight. Tell me, is it Splenda or is it sucralose? There is a difference. And the lady said, well, there's a lot of companies that can't put straight sucralose in the product. It would cost too much. It's a Splenda blend, so it has maltodextrin, dextrose, which is 99% of it, and 1% sucralose. I said, so what gives you the right to put the dang label on there, sucralose, when 99% of it is the exact opposite? She said, well, that's what the government lists as sucralose now, Splenda. So if you don't ask questions, 9 times out of 10 what you're getting is Splenda. It's not sucralose. So a lot of these people that are going out here and get these energy drinks and stuff like that, and the what is it called, acetylphotane potassium or something like that, these are all artificial sweeteners. I mean, the thing, and I see people talk about how these are healthy for you. I wonder why you're failing on keto. I wonder why you're not making the right choices. I wonder why you're not, because you're not doing the homework. See, this is what I don't get, and this is sometimes I feel like raging and getting on here and just like tearing everybody up that does this stuff. Be dirty keto if you want to be dirty keto. I'm not the keto police, although I probably should be. I probably would be a good keto police officer. I'm not the keto police, but I want to be. I want to get on here and tell people sometimes just what's right off the top of my head, but I have to refrain because all of a sudden I'm the keto police. Here's the deal. When you do dirty keto, when you add all these energy drinks and all this other junk in there, and then somebody else sees you doing it, they get the wrong idea. And when social media sees you doing it, and then other people see you doing it, and then it spreads, and it spreads, and it spreads, you might be that 21-year-old female that has your first or second kid, or 25-year-old female, or 30-year-old female that's young, that has a couple kids, and you could do that completely fine. But what about the ladies that are 35 and 40 years old, that are 45 years old? You don't represent them. Because remember, their metabolism are completely different than yours. As you get older, a lot of things slow down, a lot of things change. Just because you can do it at 25 years old and you want to tell everybody else on your friends group, oh yeah, I drink Bang energy drinks every single day. I run around and chase the kids like it's going out of style every single day. But the 35-year-old mom that's been banging it out every single day, trying to do the best that she can with clean keto, can't make any progress at all. It's because her body type is different. And when you do that and you want to socialize it and publicize it all over social media so people can see what you're doing, and you're portraying this message that dirty keto can work for you too. Look what I'm drinking, my Bang energy drinks. I'm putting a pound of sucralose, which is really Splenda, in my food or my drinks or my fat bombs and stuff like that.
What happens to everybody else that's watching you that can't be successful like you? Do you actually realize how many people you're setting back because now they see, oh, Terry from New York has lost 120 pounds drinking Bang energy drinks every single day. Look at her. She's so beautiful with her long flowing blonde hair and her nice puffy boobs that stick up, and she's just walking around like a foxy fox, and everybody can do dirty keto now. No, it didn't work that way. You're young, your metabolism is not as destroyed as somebody else, and I think us men and ladies that do that stuff to other people should be ashamed. I mean, it's just how I feel. I think we should be ashamed because we're setting this false presence in front of people, making them think that they can do the same thing and get the same results. No. These promoters out here with the ketones and the energy drinks and drink these products and my keto pump and everything else. Come on, guys. This is ridiculous. And then you get people that want to get on here and get all passionate and social about it, and then make you feel bad and say, "Oh my God, I can't believe you hurt my feelings. You're talking about the keto police showed up." I did do black coffee up until about 6 months ago. I quit doing black coffee because black coffee was really taxing my adrenals. Just 1 cup a day, it was messing me up. And then I cut it out slowly. I did like half a cup. And then I switched to highball sparkling water. Some of you know, if you're on the keto group, you can see I posted some highball sparkling water. And then all of a sudden, it started slowing down my fatigue and stuff during the day. And I said, wait a second, what if I just cut this caffeine stuff out altogether and just have it every once in a great while? What'll happen? I feel so much better. My sleep is better. My energy levels through the day is better. My adrenals aren't taxed all the time. I actually have more energy and stuff when I go to the gym by just cutting out the extra caffeine and stuff. Coffee actually raises a lot of people's triglycerides. They don't even realize that you can have completely black coffee and see if you can get a tester or something like that. I've seen people. That's great. There's a lot of people that have a lot of problems losing the amount of weight when they get older like that. But people paint these false pictures. They paint these facades of, well, you can drink Bang energy drinks every single day and you're going to get healthy. Oh, Bang energy drinks are okay. No, they're not. No, they're not. And what happens if you overtax your body with Bang energy drinks? Do you know Bang energy drinks used to have like 360 milligrams of caffeine per can? And it's made by a company called VPX that makes bodybuilding supplements, performance supplements, athletic supplements that are pretty high dose supplements. I used to see people in Iraq at the FOB that I was on taking VPX supplements, and they were like trying to be bodybuilders and stuff like that. Well, VPX came out with Bang energy drinks. Bang energy drinks, when it came out, had about 360 milligrams of caffeine, and they realized it was just way too much. It was a fat burning supplement. So what ended up happening is they had to pull it down. Well, they pull it down to about 300 milligrams of caffeine, which is the highest. I think it's the highest. Don't quote me exactly on this, but it's the highest caffeine-induced energy drink on the market. It's got several different types of artificial sweeteners. It's got tons of vitamin B12 and stuff in it. What happens when you constantly flood your body full of B12 and stuff that doesn't come from food? Especially when it comes from dietary supplements. You're not very successful in you're not very successful in regulating your vitamin B12 levels. Like you can almost overdo it. Like Dave Feldman was talking one time that they used to do the Zip Fizz drinks, and he said I realized I couldn't do it. I could not do it because what was ended up happening is I was having so much B vitamins flood my system that I actually started having a reaction to B vitamins all the time. And I had to quit the Zip Fizz and actually start making my own electrolyte drinks because it was just too much. It's the same way with these energy drinks. A lot of people don't realize you keep doing this stuff all the time. I seen a lady the other day, she had like 10 different kinds of energy drinks because it was erythritol, it was sugar-free Monsters, and it was Bang, and she was promoting it. Oh yeah, I have these every single day. Right. And this is why the government and nutritionists and social media bashes keto, because people think that's what healthy keto is. This is why they bash us and talk about how the ketogenic diet is not a healthy diet. That's why they bash us and talk about, look at these energy drinks and stuff they're drinking every single day. They're full of chemicals, but we want to smash our face full of pounds of bacon while we're drinking all these chemicals at the same time. The two of them can't mix very good together. I mean, probably having them sometimes would be great, but not every single day. I mean, it kind of gets ridiculous if you think about it. And then we wonder why we set this standard for socially. People look at us and say, I'm not going to do that diet. Look at this crap those people are eating every single day. It gets ridiculous. And if you go to some of the other keto groups and you look at how they run their groups, people are talking about all kinds. Me and Maria from Low Carb High Fat was talking today, and she's a really good friend of mine, and she said I had to shut down my whole entire group because I was talking about fasting. I wanted people to start learning a little bit about fasting, and it's like the ladies almost attacked me because they didn't want to learn about fasting. They thought because of the way they were raised and growing up and stuff like that, you had to eat more often, that the fasting is a sin. You can't do that. Your body's going to be sick and all this other stuff. And I said, are you kidding me? She said, yeah, they were causing so many problems in the group because I was using your information, my information about fasting. Yeah, calf liver. A lot of people, what they do is they soak it in milk overnight, and then they'll wake up in the morning and they'll kind of, I've seen them, they'll cook it real quick, and just like they might use like a bone broth. They'll get it real hot. They'll get the bone broth like kind of boiling, and they'll drop the calf liver down in there, and they'll just let it cook for not even a couple minutes, just a little bit, and they'll pull it out and they'll let it cool and they'll cut into it, and it's so good. It's cooked all the way through, but it's not cooked all the way through, and it's a very, very appealing taste. And then I've seen other people, they'll soak it in milk overnight, or they won't even soak it in milk if they like the taste, and they'll pull it out. They'll do a light fry in the pan real quick. Just boop, boop, just 30, 45 seconds. Hit the other side, 30, 45 seconds. Get that nice sear to it. Pull it off, and then they'll take a little bit of bone broth and they'll boil it in a pot, or they'll already have it going, and they'll set it down in there just real nice and easy, and they'll let it sit there for about 30, 45 seconds and finish cooking it the rest of the way. Oh, my gosh. So good. I think we're painting a lot of images for people. I wish we could do so much better. I wish we could do so much better when we help people. I wish we could stop making all these excuses why we eat like crap like we do, and I wish people would stop reinventing the wheel. I wish people would stop using this ketovore stuff and carniclose and all this other. If you're carnivore, you're carnivore. If you're keto, you're keto. You don't need to put yourself in a category. Just like John Venus recently, the vegan bodybuilder or whatever, that was saying he wanted to disown being called vegan because there were so many shiesty vegans that were making the vegan movement dogmatic. And he said, I don't want to be part of that. I mean, I'm a professional. I'm trying to coach people. I'm trying to train people and stuff. And I'm vegan, but I don't want to be part of this dogmatic movement where people are jerks and being mean to each other and swearing and cussing each other out. So he has every right to say that. Look, I'm vegan, but I'm not going to classify myself as vegan or talk about being vegan. Well, it's the same way. I feel embarrassed sometimes with some of these people, the way they do keto. I'm like, you know what? That's not keto. And I don't even want to talk bad about that person, but that don't represent me. They do whatever they want. I don't eat that junk, and I'm not going to recommend other people eat that junk. So some people just don't learn. I've seen people, I've been doing this for 15 years, over 15 years now. I've seen people start this with me, I'm already doing it, and I watch them come up, and a lot of people, they catch on right away, and they grow and they get better, and they grow and they get better, and just their body just naturally starts calling them to a cleaner style of living. And I would hope that all kinds of people would get that way, right? But I find there are some people that they never grow. They never try to change their lifestyle. They keep eating the same junk, dirty stuff over and over and over again, and it doesn't get any better. Those are the people I feel bad for, because they're not learning, or they don't want to learn. They're okay with what's going on. Do you know that you can be skinny and unhealthy, right? You do know that you can lose weight and still have a destroyed metabolic tract. I mean, some of the stuff I see people do is ridiculous, but I'm not here to really judge them. What I'm here to do is just spread knowledge. And skinny fat. What I would like people to take from this video is the fact that do your research. Learn what's going on in the world. Let's learn what's going on with your food and stuff like that. Don't take any doctor's advice. Don't take any nutrition advice. Don't take any YouTuber's advice. Figure it out for yourself. Let me be, or somebody's voice be, something that makes you wake up and start questioning more than what you're actually dealing with now. Let that voice be someone that says, you know what, he's right. I got to quit listening to Frank 100%, or Sean 100%, or Berg or Barry 100%. I need to start looking at my life from an individual standpoint because I cannot listen to what every single one of them says. Give me the basics. These are my clean foods. This is what I should be shooting for. These are the types of vitamins I might need. This is what I might experience. These are the symptoms I might have. Let's go. Let's Charlie Mike. I've got my information now. Now I need to rock and roll. I need to pay attention to my body. I need to pay attention to how foods affect me. And I need to figure out my journey because it's my damn journey. It's nobody else's. And I should be dictating what happens, not somebody else. Because they don't know me. They don't know what I'm going to deal with. Why do you think Sean Baker is a carnivore and has a diabetic's blood sugar? Because that's his body style. That's his body type. He's learned. His body is adapted to that lifestyle. He's got high blood sugar. He's got an A1C that's out of control. Well, not super out of control. And he's got low testosterone levels, is what his labs show. But his body has adapted to that lifestyle, and he's super healthy. So then we have to start questioning whether, if your information is true, and if what you're saying is true, and this is what my lab panel should be, this is what my lipids should be, this is what I should be showing for my testosterone, my hormone levels, how come that man is one of the top athletes in the entire world, but he's got stuff that's out of control? You know, I can tell you right now the reason why these things happen. Sean Baker has lab panels that are of an unhealthy person, but look at him. He's a monster. He's like 6'3", 225, 250 pounds. He's a top level rowing champion. He's got diabetic blood sugars. He's got low testosterone from somebody that's like 70 or 80 years old. But the guy is a freaking monster. He's a gym rat. So you have to start looking at things and questioning whether or not what we're being told is actually true. You know, just because, you know, Joe Schmo from Keto in the USA has 4,000 milligrams of potassium per day, and he feels amazing, and then he wants to start preaching to you that's what you should have. But you could have 1,200 milligrams of potassium and feel completely fine, and your lab panel show you're completely fine. What's the reason for that? How come Joe Schmo needs 4,000 in order for his lab panels to be in check, but you only need 1,200? This is why I tell people all the time, you need to engage your journey from your own standpoint. You need to be looking at what's going on in your life, how you feel, and stop listening to people. Quit listening to everybody else that says this is what you need, that's not what you need, this is what you need, that's what you need. And start cleaning up your foods and paying attention to your journey and engaging yourself from your own doctor standpoint, your own nutritionist standpoint. Because I can tell you right now, there's so many times I've listened to the professionals that we listen to every single day, and I don't find complete value in what they say anymore because I've learned from, you're right. You are, Miss Diamond, you are. Hi, Joni. Learn to look at yourself from your own standpoint and screw what everybody else has to say. But at the same time, learn exactly. Don't try to get away with stuff just because you can get away with stuff. You remember as a kid, you used to see how much you could push your mom and how much you can get away with before you got your ass whooped. Excuse my language. Sorry if you got kids around. I do apologize. You remember you used to see how much you could get away with before you got a whooping, or you got put in a corner, or you got smacked in the mouth or something like that? If my mom would have done that, if I would have opened my mouth or I would have pushed her too far, I would have got tapped in the mouth, right? I didn't get away with very much. Well, that's kind of like what you're doing with your life now. I think today I'm going to have that Bang energy drink. I want that Bang energy drink. And then you consume it and you're like, oh, wow. That 300 milligrams of caffeine that's in that Bang energy drink is really making me move around today. I'm going to lose a little bit of extra weight. And then you get on the scale the next day and you see that you've gained a half a pound. It's in your mind. 300 milligrams of caffeine in one can of Bang energy drink, and everybody's like this old craze now. Everybody go buy Bang energy drinks. Bang energy drinks were made for performance stuff. When they were labeled when they first came out, it said dietary supplement. It was for fat burning and fat loss and something that you would consume before you go to the gym. And now we got it in Walmart, gas stations, everything else. But, ooh, I'm going to see that, you know. And what I was explaining to them earlier, Joni, is the fact that sucralose is not always sucralose. If you look at what sucralose breaks down to in a lot of the products, and you actually call the companies up and say, wait a second, sucralose is on the label of Tarani. Sucralose is on the label of Da Vinci. Sucralose on those products is not sucralose. It's Splenda. It's 99% maltodextrin and dextrose and only 1% sucralose. That's why people can't have it, because it's not pure sucralose. The government has given them the ability, because it's labeled as sucralose, Splenda is, to put that on a package and say, this is healthy for you. I was on the phone 3 different times today trying to contact VPX so I can actually figure out, is this really sucralose in your Bang drink? Because 99% of the stuff that's on the market that says sucralose, it is not sucralose. It's Splenda. But they give them the right to go ahead and put sucralose on it, and it hides what's actually in there. And then Ace K is in there. And then sodium benzoate is in there. All these things that are horrible for people's health is in there, but we want to eat this stuff, you know. And I can even understand sometimes if people went and bought Hellmann's mayonnaise with canola oil. Canola oil is hydrogenated oil, don't get me wrong. But canola oil is not really all that bad for you when we look at some of the other things that we're eating. How many keto people do you know say, well, don't eat that hydrogenated oil? Don't go over there and eat all that junk, that hydrogenated soy oil and all this other stuff. Oh, that's going to give you all kinds of estrogen problems and your inflammatory markers are going to increase. I've said that because I won't do it. But honestly, if I wanted Hellmann's mayonnaise, I would go buy it. I wouldn't think twice about it. I would just go buy it because I want it. I know how to control myself. Here's the thing, though. If you look at that canola oil and what it does to your body that's in Hellmann's mayonnaise, it is nowhere near what all these artificial sweeteners and stuff like that do to your body. I mean, if we look at Ace K, Splenda, sucralose, acetyl something potassium or whatever it is, all these different things, aspartame, that are added to our food all the time, these chemicals and stuff that are added to our food, these preservatives and stuff, you don't think they have a greater impact than canola oil? That actually, it's subjective to what you want to believe, actually shows that it has some kind of balance to omega-6 and omega-3. It actually shows that it is somewhat healthy compared to the other hydrogenated oils. But what do? We tear up people because they eat Hellmann's mayonnaise, or we tear up people because they use a salad dressing that's got canola oil in it. Oh my God, I wouldn't use that. But then you look into people's pictures and they're sitting there with a Bang energy drink, or they're sitting there with a Monster energy drink, a sugar-free drink. You mean to tell me you're going to get on me, but you're consuming that? That's 10 times worse than what I'm having. We got our act all wrong. We've got this information all backwards because we're listening to a lot of people that don't really know what they're talking about. So that's why I've been preaching a lot lately, and people are asking me, why are you going on rebellion? Why all of a sudden are you going against these doctors and everybody else? Why are you all of a sudden going against people that you never would have went against before? Because I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of people standing up in front of other people and saying, this is what you need to have. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to make you healthy. You don't know what the hell is going to make me healthy. Are you kidding me? I know what's going to make me healthy because I'm going to figure that out because it's my journey and it's not yours. That's what it is. But you want to tell me I shouldn't have something, stand in front of a screen because you're some professional or something like that, and then make it seem like I'm supposed to listen to you, and I'm doing the exact opposite of what you're saying, and I'm healing. There's several things you can take away from this message. One of them is sometimes dirty keto works for people. The second one is it's your journey. You got to figure it out. Nobody else can do that for you. The third is don't believe everything you hear, because a lot of times it might be a bunch of BS. And the fourth is whatever happens, it's on you. It's solely on you. You take somebody's bad advice, or you watch something they're eating, you watch something they're drinking or something like that, and you want to do it, that's your fault. It ain't their fault. Don't blame it on anybody else but yourself. If you don't do your homework, that's your fault. That's it. Anyhow, that's my message, guys. I've been on here let's see here. I've used it for more than 15 years with no problem. It didn't stop weight loss, but as carnivore, I prefer monk fruit. That's why I don't really partake in all that, Joni. Let me see what RC said. You can buy 100% pure sucralose here. I've used it for 15 years with no problems. It doesn't stop my weight loss. Again, sucralose can be actually, like I said earlier, sucralose can be used if it's pure sucralose. It's got a glycemic index of 15 or lower. Like, it's really, really low on the list if you can get pure sucralose. I prefer monk fruit, just like RC said. Monk fruit is my thing because it's got mogursides in it. And if you don't know what mogursides are, you might find a couple different definitions, but yes, it is plant-based. Mogursides actually help with your gut matter and stuff like that, heal your gut. So There's some science that says the actual fiber from monk fruit is an additive to your health. We don't know if it's true or not. I mean, it's still fairly new. Monk fruit, some people complain, or maybe they don't really complain, but they'll say something like, after I eat monk fruit, I've got this like cool like sensation in my mouth, and it's kind of odd. I'm not used to it. Or no, monk fruit is not carnivore, but who's telling you how to do your carnivore? Do it however you want to do it. It's zero glycemic effect. It does not raise your blood sugar. It's supposed to be pretty healthy. It's supposed to actually help heal your digestive tract in so many ways. There's a lot of stuff that people are going to tell you not to do because it's not carnivore, but I would say to hell with them and do it anyway. I mean, do it. Try it out. I mean, I would do it. I've done it. I don't let people tell me how to be carnivore, and I definitely don't let people tell me how to do keto. But what I do talk about is all this trashy stuff people are talking about is keto. And, you know, one of the things that I don't get as well is, how many of you eat a lot of bacon? How many of you really love eating bacon? How disappointing is it when Thomas DeLauer gets in front of the screen and he puts a plate of bacon down and he's standing there with his 8-pack abs and he's all shredded up and all fine looking and stuff like that, and you're standing in front of him and you're like, yeah, what you gonna say about my bacon, dude? Say something about my bacon. I'm about to reach through the screen and smack the brakes off your air. What are you gonna say about my bacon? Because I love bacon. And every time I see this thing, it pops up and I'm like, say something about my bacon. Say something. Say something. And I'm like, oh man. So he stands there with his abs all hanging out and his muscles hanging out, and he says, a lot of people do keto wrong. This is not keto. I'm going to go into the blah 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 scientific terms, and this is not keto. Bacon, this is not keto. That's my keto. I'll consume as much bacon as I want. There ain't nothing wrong with that. You ain't going to stop me from eating bacon. I love bacon. I love bacon and everything. Tell me it's not keto. I'll smack the fat back on him. Anyway. Anyhow, that's my little Friday chat after work. I get a kick out of all these, like, first of all, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm not talking bad about nobody right now. First of all, Dr. Berry was keto, and then he's oh yeah, keto's this and keto's spectacular and keto's awesome. And then Dr. Berry went carnivore as an experiment. He wanted to see what it was like. Well, he liked it. He actually did very well on it. He felt better on it. And then he started talking to other people about it. He started his 30-day experiment. And then people in my group said, oh my God, he betrayed us and all this other stuff. I said, no, he didn't. He didn't tell anybody to do it at first. Actually, he tried it out himself to see what it was about. And then he started talking to people about possibly trying it. And I made a video talking about this is what he meant. Now, some of you know I've had problems with some of the professionals, without mentioning names, lately, and I've openly spoke about it, and I don't care if they like it or not. I don't care if people like me for speaking the truth or not. I'm going to speak whatever I want to say, and this is how it is. And I speaketh the trutheth, if you know what I meaneth. And then you had Berg with the 10 cups of vegetables per day, and then you got Thomas DeLauer with his own recommendations of macros, and then you got Dr. Eric Westman telling you, I mean, honestly, carnivore is just another form of keto. You could say that. I don't say that, though. I say keto is another form of carnivore because people have eaten meat forever. But people have also eaten carnivore forever. I mean, keto forever. So it's all on what you like to say. I like to say I've seen more people elimination-wise heal people than keto has. But you can say that, yes. There are certain professionals that like to call keto the main diet and carnivore a spin-off of it. I don't find that happening, though. I find people that have major medical problems and they're trying to troubleshoot things find that a carnivorous diet is more superior than keto because they eliminate all the carbs, all the sugars, and they just get right down to the nitty-gritty of finding out what's wrong, and then they start adding things in and they figure out exactly. So yeah, you're right. Carnivore is keto. Or keto, it doesn't really matter. I like to tell people keto is a subset of carnivore because I find carnivore heals more people. Let me see here. Bacon. Well, and then you find Dr. Eric Westman tells people just eat keto, don't track, just eat clean keto products, right? And then you find Dr. Stephen Feeney and Dr. Jeff Volek talk about more protein, not so much fat, but fat is really important. And then you find Dr. Stanley Lang says something different. And then you find Dr. Paul Saladino says, oh, the cure for everything is the carnivorous diet. Man, so many of these damn doctors that claim to be so much more smarter than everybody else, and they got their own way of doing things, their own message to put out, and they got the cure, the answer, the miracle, anti-aging thing for the miracle potion every single. Come on, shut up. I almost sometimes want to tell them all to shut up. I've figured out keto and carnivore-based diets are what I want, and however I mix them up is how I'm going to do it. So sometimes I want to tell people either you're carnivore or you're keto. There ain't no this mix in between stuff or whatever. There's no ketovore or no carnivish or any carniclose. It's your keto or your carnivore. Quit making it more complicated than what it is. I get a lot of new people that say, I was over in Keto Connect and somebody was calling it carniclose. What is carniclose? What is that? I don't know what that is. It's confusing me because I'm looking it up on the internet and I can't find a... Um, I can't find what the real definition of it is, and I'm confused, and I have to explain to them it's a made-up name. Carniclose is just saying, look, I'm having a lot of protein, a lot of fat, and I'm not having so much keto food, so I'm carnivore close, carniclose. Well, then just say you're keto, because you're not carnivore. Just say I'm keto, and then when people want to know what you're doing because of your results, they'll say, hey, what are you doing? Then you tell them, hey, look, I'm having a little bit more protein and fat than what you normally would, and it seems to be really working for me. Or I have people that say I'm keto-vish or whatever. And I'm like, keto-ish or keto-vish or whatever it is. I'm like, what is keto-ish? Well, I'm having a little bit more vegetables and or keto-close or something like that. I'm having a little bit more vegetables than what I normally would on a carnivorous diet. I'm like, oh man, y'all are crazy. Quit with the freaking terms and classifying yourself in categories and stuff. If you're carnivore, you're carnivore. If you're keto, quit making it complicated. Sometimes I want to pull my eyes out of my socket because I keep seeing all this craziness, and then people try to create categories and stuff, and then you feel like I can't fit in the keto group because I don't fit in the keto group. I can't fit in the carnivore group because I don't fit in the carnivore group. But I want to create a subcategory for myself so I make sure I'm accepted by somebody, and maybe other people will catch on so they can be in my group as well. So I'm going to call myself carniclose, and I'm going to see who else wants to be carniclose. And if I can get more people that are carniclose, maybe we can start our own movement calling it carniclose. What the heck are y'all doing? I don't understand that. I don't understand all that stuff. And make it complicated. You know, I know for some of us that have been doing this for a while, we know what they mean when they say that. But I always have to question people, and people are like, why do you do that? And I said, well, because I want you to think about what you're saying. You just said you're keto close or you're carniclose. And I'm like, go back to it and look at what you just said. You're carnivore. You're keto. You're just making up titles now so you can fit somewhere. And if that's what you want to do, by all means, do that. But I'm fixing to be the keto police in a second, drop some knowledge. And it just makes it more complicated because brand new people that come into the group, they don't know what that stuff is. They really don't. They're confused. They come to me, they private message me and stuff, and they say, you know, you help so many people and you're constantly talking about staying on track. Let's not call things that aren't things. Let's not call things what they're not. What are these people talking about? Like, I don't know what carnivore is or carnivish or carniclosivishable. I don't know. Make up some kind of name. It's kind of crazy. And I tell people I'm carnivore. If I want to have mushrooms or if I want to have a green salad or something like that, guess what I'm going to do? What did RC say? RC says, if we're trying to save our friends, family, and health, don't we need to give a name and tell them you can eat this and this, but not that? That's why I promote carnivore. It's simple. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I get it. But, you know, like for my mother, for instance, I said, Mom, you want to make this easy? Here, I'm going to write down the stuff you can eat. Whatever you eat on that list, don't even call it keto. Don't even call it carnivore. Just eat the stuff that's on that list right there, and I guarantee you're going to get healthy. And she said, oh, baby, I love you. You make it so easy for me. You make it so easy. So I got on the keto group, and I did a little message title. Says, let's help Mom make a food list. She didn't need to know it was keto. Every single freaking thing on that list was keto. All the greens, all the oils, all the butters, all the meats and stuff like that. But I didn't call it keto. You know what I told her? Just eat these foods. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to heal. Simple. You know, there you go. Brazilian steakhouse. We'll call it the list diet. I actually thought about just making up my own name for something, just randomly, like talking to you guys one day, and just for fun to see how many people, how like, so I can show you guys how silly this is, and how powerful and how easy this is. Just come up with something to call it like um, the simplistic diet. We're just gonna call it the simplistic diet, and then I bet you 2 months from now of repeating that over and over again, even if it's nothing, even if it's like, even if we just give keto a category and say we're going to remove avocados from keto and we're going to call it the simplistic diet, I bet you 6 months from now, 3 months from now, people would be calling stuff the simplistic diet or the list diet. Almost guarantee it. And it would be a thing. It makes no sense. Just eat low glycemic food, eat low carb food, be on a keto, well, be in ketosis, and just whatever, dude. I mean, do your thing. But it's like everybody's so stuck on these titles and stuff like that. They want to fit into a class or a category. They want to feel like they're in with the in crowd or whatever. Well, I'm getting tired of the in crowd. If you notice, a lot of my videos and stuff lately are pretty controversial because I'm ready. I'm at that point in my life where people are starting to recognize me when I'm in public. If you guys don't know, I'm doing my own public seminars and stuff now. I got another one coming up March 9th at the library here from 3 to 5 p.m. at the LaBouche Library in Pineville, Louisiana. People are starting to like recognize me. Hey, there's the keto guy, the keto mechanic, and everything else, because I'm always wearing my mechanic top, because that's what people know me as. I go home, throw this in the laundry, grab another one off the shelf, put a nice pair of pants on, go to the movies. I've got my mechanic top on. So I'm just like, I don't need categories. I don't need people to think that this is something that it's not. I need people to know that this is easy. It's not complicated. When I start giving things a name to people, like if you notice this in public, try to call something a name that people are not used to, and then try to say you should be doing this and see what happens. They almost push away. They almost don't even want to come back to talk to you about what you're talking about, because they're like, you know what, dude, I don't even know what that is. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I feel like I'm lost, and I could not call it the mechanic diet. That's right, because you're a mechanic too. Have a good weekend, Joni. So, I'm thinking to myself now, when you give labels to things, when you give categories and you call things names that people aren't used to, they almost want to shun away from it. They don't want to partake in it. So when I tell people about keto now, I'll mention keto, but I don't mention it right away. I'll say these are the foods that I eat every single day, and this is how I've had my success. And then when people say, wow, that's awesome, I eat those foods every day, and I say, yeah, it's just like the simple, it's the keto diet, and oh yeah, I heard about the keto diet. My friend lost all this weight and stuff doing the keto diet, and then all of a sudden they're receptive to it because you've talked about foods that they can assimilate to. You've given them information that they can relate to you on a different level, and then all of a sudden you kind of slip the name in there, and they're like, yeah, that keto diet, yeah, I've heard some good stuff about that. But if you don't do that first, and you say, yeah, I do the keto diet, people are like, you mean that diet that everybody's getting sick on? They can't relate to you. Wake up. They don't know what you're doing right away. They can't say that they're eating that food because they've heard so much bad stuff on social media. Wake up. If you tell them like right away, oh yeah, I eat all this bacon. No, I eat greens, I eat good quality steak, I eat chicken, I eat fish, I eat all this good stuff. And then when you say, yeah, I'm just, I eat broccoli, cauliflower, I eat real butter and salt. And I love that stuff. Oh, I eat that stuff already. Well, then maybe you should just kind of change the amount, and then you could be on the keto diet. It's kind of like what I'm doing right now. And then they're like, oh yeah, I'm on the keto diet. Yeah, that's awesome. But when you say keto up front and you don't give them something to relate to when you're talking about it, they automatically almost shut down because they remember all the bad stuff that was said on social media. It's a thing, guys. It's a thing. Just learning how to engage people in a public standpoint or on a personal level is probably one of the smartest things you can do. And because of the way social media has portrayed the ketogenic diet and the carnivorous diet, people think it's dangerous. But if you learn, like me, because I do so much with the public, not just here, I'm out here on my feet doing this stuff in public, talking to people, my coworkers at libraries. I'm trying to go up to Long Island, New York, and do a seminar up there. I've called the library up there, and they called me back the first time, and we talked about it a little bit. And I don't even remember the name of this joint. I had to go back into my phone and actually look up the New York number. And she was supposed to call me back, and she never called me back. But I understand she's probably busy. I'm trying to start moving around the United States now and doing this stuff. Now that I have a couple under my belt, people, I can reference that and say, here's my video I just did. I can reference the things that I'm starting to do in public now, and people want to hear me. They want to talk. They want to see. I share my story with them and stuff like that, and tell them. I realize this is not all about weight loss. This is about healing overall. This is not just about weight loss. A lot of this is about healing yourself internally, mentally, physically, before any of that other weight loss stuff happens. And then they listen to my story and they hear what I have to say and they see how long I've been doing it. And they're like, hey, you want to come talk to my library? We got a lot of people in the area that are interested. And they love the PR event. It brings enlightenment to the library. And not only does it bring enlightenment to the library, they get books involved. I donated some books to the library, so now they got new criteria. People are wanting to go check that stuff out. They want to come back and see me again. They want to go back to the library and spend their time and stuff at the library where they never did before. So it's a whole different change, a whole different mindset when you learn how to start engaging the public. Not just social media. This stuff is nothing. I mean, this stuff is great to reach a lot of people, but where your growth comes from, if you want to start teaching this to other people, is actually going out and socially doing this. I'll go up to people in public. There's an old lady buying a tub of butter or something. I'll go up and it might not be the safest thing to do, but I go up and I just touch on her shoulder a bit. Ma'am, can I show you a better butter over here? That stuff's not really that great. And I'll actually take the Kerrygold butter off the shelf and give it to her, the Land O'Lakes butter, and she'll say, why? I've had this my whole life. And the oils and stuff in there aren't very healthy, and they're not great for your health. And this over here is real natural butter. Do you remember how your grandmother used to eat? Do you remember how your grandfather used to eat? It was real butter. How long did your mother and your grandmother, well, they lived to their 90s or whatever. This is the kind of food they ate. They didn't have country crock back then. Oh, you're right. I never thought about that. My doctor said this was heart healthy. I said, it's not really heart healthy, ma'am. It's hydrogenated. And I can explain that to you if you want. She said, no, I'll take your word for it. I'm going to start using the real butter. It was a mindset. It was an engagement change. It was something to the point where learning how to talk to public, learning how to engage the public, learning how to look at things from a completely different standpoint takes you out of the social media realm. Guys, I've been so stressed out learning how to deal with social media and fighting with pig men and stuff on the group. Men attack me so much because they want to be the superior alpha male or something like that, and I shut them down quick because I won't listen to it. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one alpha male in my life, and that's the big man upstairs. That's the alpha male. Other than that, I'm the top guy when it comes to it. That's just how it is, and I would expect you as a female or a male to feel that way about yourself too. I got one boss, and that's upstairs. I'm sorry. If you don't believe, you don't believe. I'm not here to make you feel uncomfortable. But I have a lot of people that attack me on social media because I come off very educated, very strong. I put it out there and I'm done. I don't want to argue with you. If you don't believe what I believe, then move on about your business. Or I'll move on about my business. It doesn't matter. But I find that a lot of people learn this dogmatic social media lifestyle, and that's the life and attitude they learn to have with keto and carnivore. That's the attitude they learn to project out in public and stuff, because it's almost like they're thinking they're going to get the same treatment that happens on social media in public when they mention keto, or when they mention carnivore. First of all, I have to. No, he's not. First of all, I have to tell you right now that people in public won't talk to you like they will on social media. 99.9% of people don't have the cojones down there to say the same stuff they will behind that keyboard and stuff, right? So when I'm in public trying to talk to somebody, they're very receptive. They actually listen to what I have to say. And the more public work I do, the more footwork I do, that where I put in the time to go out and actually talk to people about this stuff, the more I find, the better I get on social media, and the less I want to deal with people's junk. Because you're saying that on the computer and the phone or whatever else like you're some big tough guy, but I'm going to tell you right now, in public you wouldn't say that to me. In public you would see me and be like, he's a pretty big dude and probably pretty smart or whatever. He seems like he does this stuff. I'm just going to listen for a second. And that's what they do. But on the internet they get all crazy and stuff. They don't want to listen to you or whatever. They want to talk like they know more. And I found what's making me better is by talking to people like RC, like Rena, Phyllis, Miss Diamond, the people, Cindy and stuff that have been here for a long time, the people that are just real that I talk to over and over and over again. Frugal, Arthur, all these people that have been following me for a long time. These are people that keep me grounded and keep me real, and I learned that I'm dealing with real people, not dogmatic idiots all the time. That on YouTube is completely different. I can control what happens on YouTube. On the social media groups, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. You got everybody trying to cut throat. I had a guy come on my group today that was trying to sell pilly butter. And I said, brother, you've been a great group member. You have been an awesome person to deal with, but don't ever come on my group trying to sell a product again. I'm the big dog here. I'm the one that watches out for this group. I'm the one that tries to make sure we get all good, clean information. If you promote something else on my group again, I'll remove you from my group. You run through me, I'll look at the product, I'll go on Google, I'll Wikipedia it, I'll whatever it is, I'll look at the products in there, make sure it's healthy for people. And if it's healthy for people and I approve, you can post it with your affiliate link and you can make some money off of it. No problem at all. But it goes through me first. Well, you can't do that. Yes, I can. And I will. I want it to go through me first. And if it's healthy, then I'll let people post it. I don't have a problem with that. But this is what happens with social media. I have to be a parent. I have to be a police officer. I have to be the keto police about everything on YouTube. I don't have to do that. I say what I got to say. If people don't like it, so what? It's in the comment section. They don't know me in real life. Well, eventually they might know me. But I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys for showing me how to be a person outside of keto or outside of Facebook, stuff like that. I appreciate the people that come watch me talk in public. I appreciate the people that support me, because that's what keeps me a grounded person that can communicate and be good in public and be good on social media, be good, well-rounded, be a person that can network and communicate with people and actually teach other people. I don't rehearse any of my videos. There's not one video that I've done other than maybe like 3 or 4 in the last 3 years of being on YouTube, or 2 years of being on YouTube, that I've ever rehearsed. I do not do these things. I don't go with a pad of paper. I make sure that I experience enough in life and working with people privately and looking at people's deficiencies and how to fix things, to where I come up and I get in front of this camera and I come with an educated mindset that's very transparent, and I don't leave any fluff out there. I don't lie to people. I don't care what people have to say. If you don't like what I have to say, then you don't have to watch my videos. That's the kind of person I am. And a lot of people lately have been just saying, thanks, man. Thanks for being you. Thanks for really just telling the truth. Recently, I talked about somebody in a professional standpoint that was kind of hiding some stuff from people, and I brought it out. I kind of made some of it surfaced. I ruffled a little bit of feathers so people could start hearing a little bit about what's going on, because it wasn't being talked about. People didn't like me because of that. People didn't like the fact that I was telling the truth. People didn't like the fact that I was bringing somebody to consequence. You should be talking about this. You should be telling people about this. You are a professional. People come to see you. You should talk about this. People did not like me for that. I don't care. It's the right thing to do. I'm me. That's all I can be, right? Anyhow, this video is over. 1 hour and 12 minutes is a long time. And you guys have stuck here with me the whole time. This is why this is amazing. I hope one day that I can give back to you more than I've ever given back to you. I hope one day that you're here following me. We're networking together every single day. We're grabbing information together every single day. And we're realizing that science doesn't dictate how we live our lives. Doctors don't dictate how we live our lives. And other YouTubers and other people don't dictate how we live our lives. But what we do is we dictate how we live our lives ourselves. Engage yourself from a holistic, whole food, organic standpoint. Learn how to engage yourself from your own personal journey and keep everybody else's journeys out of it. Learn a little bit from person to person and put it all together and figure out what you want in your life. It's your life. You got to live it, not anybody else. Keto on, carnivore on. Have a great night. Thanks, guys.